Hey everybody, welcome. Hope you had a very Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and a Happy New Year. Welcome to my first video of 2024. I, for one, will be thinking of the Ukrainian people a lot this year, working as much as I can for them, including some videos and information sharing and other things. They are in a tough situation, and it's getting tougher through this winter, and I'm going to support them as much as I can. With that said, let's get on to today's video. Okay, so it's January 9th, 2024. That is 15 full years after Satoshi Nakamoto, the pseudonymous creator of Bitcoin, launched the code of Bitcoin. He released it to the world on January 9th, 2009. And I did a post a couple days ago on January 3rd, which was this same chart. I'm going to explain it now. January 3rd is actually when he launched Bitcoin, the system, Bitcoin, the network, Bitcoin, the protocol, launched the Genesis block himself. And then eventually from a single entity that was him, this became into the most secure and decentralized network in the world in 15 years. So it's very, very fascinating. Here we're looking at $100,000, how much that can buy you in Bitcoin terms. This is the same thing as a Bitcoin chart in US dollar terms, but it's inverted. So again, local currency units, 100,000 local currency units to Bitcoin. We're going to look at a variety of currencies here quickly, and we're going to try to see how much Bitcoin 100,000 units of a local currency could buy us. All right. So back in 2010, which is the first pricing data officially, let's say, Laszlo with his 10,000 Bitcoins for 2 pizzas. That was Bitcoin Pizza Day, May 22nd, 2010. With $100,000, you could buy 24.39 million Bitcoins. Now, let me be clear here. Obviously, for those that know anything about the Bitcoin network, that would be impossible at the time. $100,000 back in 2010, there was no liquidity, there was no market. And certainly 24.39 Bitcoins, 24.39 million Bitcoins were not available. They will never be available for those of you that understand that Bitcoin is limited to a supply cap of 21 million BTC, actually slightly less than 21 million BTC. They could never have bought 24.4 million Bitcoins. And in addition to that, not even 21 million Bitcoins has been emitted via the protocol yet, has been issued via the protocol yet. At this time, in fact, in May 2010, it was about 2.8, 2.9 million Bitcoins only that had been issued. Right now, we're at about 19.6 million Bitcoins, and on and on and on until eventually around the year 2140, 2139, there's going to be 21 million Bitcoins issued per the protocol. The point is, 100,000 local currency units is going to give us a good picture to see how much that respective currency could buy over time. All right, so point is, $100,000 roughly, you could buy the whole network in the future in 2010 USD Bitcoin terms. Okay, so just a massive number. But then, of course, as Bitcoin quickly passed $1 after the Slashdot article, after many developments and hackers and developers got into the space, this number dropped rapidly to where by 2010, 2011, with $100,000, the first major boom here in mid-2011 is actually the same time that Mezinskis suffered its first hack. Bitcoin went to about $30. $100,000 worth would have bought you, at this point, only about 5,800 or 4,700, depending on the day, Bitcoin. Okay, $100,000. And down we go. As the price of Bitcoin rises, $100,000 will buy you less and less and less. And what will it buy you today on the 15-year anniversary of Satoshi releasing the code to the world? 2.15 BTC. $100,000 will buy you 2.15 BTC, where you basically theoretically could buy the whole future value of the network in Bitcoin terms. All right, 21 million coins worth, even though that amount didn't exist at the time, with its lack of liquidity and all back in 2010. Now you can only buy 2.15 BTC. Big picture. Think about that next time you watch any talking head on the news. Let's look at the euro. Very similar pattern. Euro is obviously one of the world reserve currencies. How many euros can you get? Euro is a little bit stronger than the dollar, so you can get a little bit more Bitcoin, 2.35 BTC. Okay, where again, you could have bought the network back at the start, now only 2.35. Pound sterling is actually the strongest currency, 2.73 Bitcoin. Okay, Swiss franc. All right, you see they all have the same trend. This shows you fiat is very related to itself. It is not related to the Bitcoin network. How many Swiss franc? 100,000 Swiss francs at the moment can buy you 2.52 Bitcoin. All right, so this is the four strongest currencies in the world. All right, same pattern, same exact pattern. Now let's take a little detour. Let's look at a currency that has rapidly devalued over the years, all right, over the last 15 years. It would be the Turkish lira. Watch how it falls. Okay, there it is in the black line. See, it did kind of share back in the early 2010s, even though there was some hyperinflation in Turkey at the time. I shouldn't say hyperinflation, but high inflation. We can see that as that continued throughout the last 15 years, 100,000 Turkish lira can buy us less and less and less. Remember, this is log scale on the left. So by the time we get to today, January 9th, 2024, 100,000 Turkish lira can only get us 0.07 BTC. Whereas back in the beginning, 100,000 Turkish lira could essentially still buy the network. Okay, 15 million Bitcoin. Again, there was only 3 million Bitcoin issued at the time. I understand that. This is for illustration purposes only. So the Turkish lira took a massive slide here relative to the top four currencies in the world and relative to Bitcoin. Let's look at another one that's been hyperinflating, famously Argentinian peso. All right, even worse, even worse. Okay, so back at the beginning, 100,000 Argentinian pesos around Bitcoin P today couldn't buy the network, could buy 6.2 million Bitcoins. Okay, again, illustration purposes only. I know that there wasn't even 6.2 million Bitcoins at the time, but 100,000 Argentinian pesos based on the pricing of Bitcoin, what Laszlo established, 6.25 million Bitcoin. And this has fallen faster for sure than the top four currencies, for sure faster than the Turkish lira, to where as of today, 100,000 Argentinian pesos can get you 0.00 Bitcoin. I don't say this with any glee or any satisfaction. I say this to show you, as a matter of fact, how the Bitcoin protocol has worked, how the exchange rate of the Bitcoin protocol has worked, and how hyperinflation of fiat currency works. All right. One more thing to note about this blue line. This is actually the official or the government stated exchange rate, the central bank rate of the Argentinian peso. If you looked at the, and Malay, as you see just right here, he did devalue. Let's just zoom in right there, devalued the peso from, the 350 or so official pesos to 800 coming in. But the black market is still about 20% worse than that. It's about 1,000 pesos to the dollar. So this is the official market only. All right. So pay attention to what fiat currency can do to your wealth. All right. Let's just look at a few more. Brazilian real. Better than the Turkish lira, but not as good as the top four currencies in yellow. 100,000 Brazilian real or real can only get you today 0.44 Bitcoin. All right, Chinese yuan. Chinese yuan in red, around the level of Brazil, a little bit worse. So 100,000 Chinese yuan, now 0.3 Bitcoin. Last two, Indian rupee, below the Turkish lira, above the Argentinian peso. 100,000 Indian rupees today will get you 0.03 Bitcoin. This will be lower from the start. Would have only got you 519,000 Bitcoin at the beginning. Again, that's a possible purchase, but no liquidity. Just interesting to see, right? Last one of the most tyrannical and oppressive nations in the world right now, Russia. How many Bitcoin can we get for 100,000 Russian rubles? At the beginning, it's around the level of the rupee. You could have gotten, again, this is pure exchange rate, fiat exchange rate back in the day. You could have got again, a possible purchase, 780,000 Bitcoin for 100,000 Russian rubles back in the day. Now, 100,000 Russian rubles will get you 0.02 Bitcoin. January 9th, 2024, 15 full years after Satoshi Nakamoto released the code to the world, 15 full years and 6 days after Satoshi Nakamoto launched the Genesis block, 100,000 local currency units in any currency went from basically buying the entire network, even though it was not possible with the liquidity at the time or even the coins issued at the time, going all the way to today, 15 full years later, going down, 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 all fiat exchange rates falling in value versus 1 BTC, to where 100,000 currency units could basically buy the network 15 years ago to today. Even the best of currencies can maybe get you almost 3 Bitcoin, to the worst of currencies buying you not even 0.00 or 0.02 Bitcoin. Fiat money is related. It is correlated together. Bitcoin is not. Think about this. The next time you hear talking heads on the news, think about this. The next time you hear someone pontificate how they understand the true value of Bitcoin, this is what the market has told us of fiat currency versus Bitcoin over the next 15 years. I'm not saying past performance equals future results. What I am saying is the Bitcoin system is perhaps one of the greatest sovereign wealth and monetary inventions ever created. I do hope you will pay attention to this in the future. All the best in 2024 again. Happy New Year.